Hello guys, welcome to the current affairs session where I'll be discussing all of the important topics that are necessary for UPSC, be it for mains or be it for prelims. Right, without any further ado, let us start for the current affairs discussion or the analysis. Today I'll be discussing the Hindus paper, April 8th, 2026. Right. So the first editorial that I'll be discussing is basically I should have been discussing all of the important topics, but I think only the editorials currently have the important topics. Delimitation, women's reservation, and political dynamics is the first editorial that we'll be discussing. Before understanding what the author is exactly trying to say in the editorial, let us discuss about women's reservation that has been brought in by the parliament in the recent times. Right. Firstly, it is Nari Shakti Vandan Adhinyam. Right. It is brought in by 106th Constitutional Amendment, and it gives a 33% reservation for women in the Lok Sabha seats and also in the Legislative Assembly seats. Thirdly, it includes the seats already reserved for the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes as well. And there's a rotation system, meaning I'll explain the rotation system in a very simple manner. Let's say there are 9 constituencies: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. These are the 9 constituencies that are there. Yeah, 9 constituencies that are there. As there is 33% reservation. Okay, the first in the first cycle, B, D, and F will get reservation because 33% means 33% of 9 is 3. Okay, so B, D, and F will get the first will get reservation in the first cycle, and after the first cycle, the B, D, and F will become general categories again, and then other 3 such as C, E, and G will become the reserve category constituencies. This is how rotation system works, where all of the constituencies are given a chance of reservation, thereby ensuring that everyone gets an equal chance in whenever it comes to reservation or whenever it comes to participation. But there's a drawback with this. The main drawback is that there's no long-term investment done by the people that are present in that particular constituencies. And for example, let's say B, D, and F constituencies are there. B, D, and F constituencies are there, right? B, D, and F constituencies where they'll get reservation in the first cycle. Let's say all of the 3 constituencies have come up with some of the policies and laws, right? And when the reservation ends there, they might or might not get elected again. So that way, the long-termness of the policies tend to reduce whenever there is rotation of seats in such a manner, right? And then you have, now this particular law is valid for 15 years. And what you need to remember is that there is no reservation in Rajya Sabha and Legislative Council. So these are all the tenets for Nari Shakti Vandan Adhinyam. One is the 106th Amendment, 106th Constitutional Amendment, 33% reservation in Lok Sabha and Legislative Assembly seats, and includes seats already reserved for SC and ST, rotation system, and valid for 15 years, and no reservation for Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. Now that we've understood what the women's reservation is, let us understand what the author is trying to say in this particular editorial. The author is trying to say that while the women's reservation and the delimitation is very good, right? It is a long due aspect that has been held long for a long time. Now that it has come into action, the particular law says that the delimitation has to happen in the next census, right? In the next census being in 2029. Basically, the law said that the implementation of the law will happen after the next census, meaning in 2029. But now the government is trying to say that it will ensure it will do it in 2027. In 2027, it will start implementing from whenever there is state assembly elections. It will start implementing the women's reservation bill. And in order to use, but the government says that it should, the reason why government said 2029 is because new data will come into existence. That is the reason government said 2029. But now that it is being implemented in 2027, the government is saying, let us use the data of 2011. 2011 data, 2011 census data. So now let us discuss all of the problems that are present in the delimitation and women's reservation in political dynamics, right? Firstly, whenever there is delimitation happening, you need new data. The first issue with the delimitation is usage of old data. The particular law says that we'll use 2011 data. As there are new cities emerging, there's more population and more population shift. Usage of old data will actually reduce this efficacy. This is the first issue. Second issue is the north and south divide. Whenever the delimitation is happening, the population or the states with highest population will get highest number of seats. Thereby, as you can see that the states such as UP have higher population, whereas states such as Kerala, Tamil Nadu, West Bengal have lower population rate. So these states will benefit less and these states will benefit more. So that way there's a divide in the power that has been distributed between north and southern regions. The third is increase in seats. We've discussed in previous current affairs classes that the government has proposed for a digressive proportionality. Right? Digressive proportionality. Now, what is digressive proportionality? Just to remind you guys what digressive proportionality is. Digressive proportionality is where the states, let's say A, B, C are there. State with higher number of population will get higher number of seats. State with median number of population, right? Median number of population will get representation, whereas state with lower number of population will get more representation, right? So it's saying that in states, when the state has higher number of population, it will get higher number of seats. But with the state with low number of population, will get more representation. This is what is called digressive proportionality. So there's an issue still that the state with higher number of population is still getting the higher number of seats when compared to the state with lower number of seats. This is the other issue. And then the other issue is the political dynamics, right? That is what the editorial is saying, political dynamics. What is the political dynamics? While the government said the particular law will be implemented in the 2029, suddenly it changed its stance from 2029 to 2027. And the reason why is because it could help in mobilizing women voters. Women voters in both 2027, the state assembly elections, and also the 2029, the parliamentary elections. Right? It is just timing or a political timing done by the government in such a way that it will benefit the government itself. Right? This is called the political dynamics. That is another drawback, because any any positive change that is being brought into India should be done based on the necessities and not based on political dynamics. Whenever you do it based on political dynamics, people starve for benefits. That is what's happening. And the other aspect that is very important is the rotational confusion, as I've discussed in the recent past, right? As I discussed just now, that as there are 9 constituencies, 33% reservation, right? Every time all the seats will be rotating, due to which there's no long-term investment done by the candidates into that particular constituency. That is another part, another issue. And lastly, the 2029 census. The 2029 census will include caste data. Right? It will include caste data, and when the caste data is included, there might be some demands, external demands done by people belonging to disadvantaged communities such as OBC. Right? They might ask for a separate reservation for OBC within the women's quota. This can happen, right? These are all the drawbacks that are part of this particular editorial. One is that usage of old data. 2 is the north and south issue. 3 is the increase in seats. 4th is the political timing. 5th is the rotational confusion. And lastly, it is the external demand when the caste data is used for 2029 census. These are all the issues that have been pointed out by the author in the particular editorial when it comes to the Nari Shakti Vandan Adhinyam. Okay, that is what I wanted to discuss in this particular editorial. You can use it in General Studies paper 2 when it comes to governance. Right, you can use it in the governance paper in General Studies paper 2. After this, we'll move on to the next editorial, limits of neutrality in addressing caste. This particular editorial talks about Supreme Court's stay on the UGC promotion of equity in higher education institutions regulation 2026. Before understanding what the author is trying to say, let us understand what the exact regulations say. Right? The UGC promotion of equity higher educational institutions regulation 2026 talks about how higher educational institutions must prevent and eradicate discrimination first, and then equal opportunity centers will be created where guidance and opportunities will be provided for all the disadvantaged groups. Then you will have equity squads where all the equity squads will be roaming into the campus and they'll be vigilant in nature, right, where they'll be looking into all of the aspects or the complaints that are there. Then equity committees, they will inquire into all the SC, ST and OBC complaints that happen in the campus. Now, these are all the core tenets of the particular regulation. The reason we are talking about this particular regulation is because the Supreme Court has recently put a stay on these regulations. And the reason they put a stay on these regulations is because many people are criticizing the particular regulation based on not including general category people or general category students into the particular regulation, because Article 14 says everyone should be treated equally, right? Article 14 says right to equality, right? It is right to equality where everyone should be treated equally. But this is not what the author thinks. The author thinks that there are two types of equality. One is the formal equality. Write it here. One is the formal equality. And the other one is the substantial equality. I'll explain formal equality and substantial equality in a simple manner. Imagine there are 4 people, right? Let's say 3 people. A, B, and C are 3 people. They both are, all of the 3 people are watching a match, right, in a stadium. And A is very short, B is medium, and C is tall. C can clearly watch the match. As A is short, A cannot watch the match, and B is trying to jump and is trying to watch the match. Now, in formal equality, we'll give all of the people a small box, right? All of the people a small box of same size, so that A will stand on this, B will stand on this, and C will stand on this. As C is very tall, it is obviously advantageous for C, and as B is medium tall, it will help B a little. As A is very short, the small box is still not helping A to watch the match. So in formal equality, we are giving everyone the same opportunity without looking at the amount of disadvantage they are in. Okay, that is called formal equality. In substantial equality, we'll give the advantage based on the depth of the disadvantage for the particular person. Let's say C is very tall, B is medium tall, and A is very short. So we'll ensure that, and this particular wall is 9 meters tall. C is 10 meters tall, B is 5 meters tall, and C is 3 meters tall. Just imagine this is an imaginary situation where A is 3 meters tall, B is 5 meters tall, C is 10 meters tall, and the wall after which you can watch the match is 9 meters. So C obviously can watch because he's 10 meters tall. B is very hard for him to watch because he's only 5 meters. And C, it's even hard because he's only 3 meters, right? We'll ensure in substantial equality, we'll ensure that all of them have 10 meters height. So we'll give a 7 meter stool for A, 5 meter stool for B, and no stool for C because C can already watch. Now they'll ensure that everyone is watching the movie or watching the match and having the right amount of advantage. This is called formal equality and also substantial equality. Now the author is saying that while we've ensured formal equality for all the people, this particular regulation ensures there is substantial equality for the people. The main reason the UGC has excluded the general category students is because they have a historically advantaged because they are historically advantaged, right? General category people are generally considered as historically advantaged groups where they do not have what you call any systemic barriers, right? Historically general category people do not have any systemic barriers, due to which they had higher amount of education, health, and right amount of time to generate the wealth. But unlike those people, the SCs, STs, and OBCs had a systemic barrier, due to which these UGC regulations would help ensure there is less amount of oppression and also discrimination. The author was also trying to say that we can actually see it in the Constitution itself, that Article 14, Article 15, and Article 16 itself give targeted protection to people, right? Article 15 and Article 16 itself give targeted protection to disadvantaged groups. Then why is it wrong for the UGC to give targeted protection to certain category of people is what the author is trying to say. The author also tries to say that whenever there's a neutral law present, all the discrimination becomes a silly complaint, right? All the discrimination becomes a complaint. It is not treating the inequality again. If you make the law neutral, it is not treating an inequality, it is only talking about complaint. It is just like how a college has people and college has students who have conflicts, right? It is only a conflict resolution method rather than treating an oppression or a historic oppression that has been coming for years. This is what the author is trying to say, right? And you can use this in GS1 mains when it comes to equality and society. You can also use it in education, how there's discrimination and how particular laws such as the UGC regulations help ensure that there is reduced oppression among the people of the society and also the universities. So that is about the particular editorial. Now let us move on to the next article. I looked on to some articles here. Here we have fast breeder nuclear reactor at Kalpakkam takes critical leap forward. In this, I wanted to talk to you about the 3 stages of the nuclear in India and also the power stations that are present in India, right? Now, the power stations that are present in India are Tarapur, that is present in Maharashtra, then Kudankulam, that is in Tamil Nadu, Rajasthan Atomic Power Station, obviously in Rajasthan, then Kalpakkam, which is in the particular article, is in Tamil Nadu, and Kakrapar, that is in Gujarat, Narora in UP, and Kaiga in Karnataka. These are all the 7 power stations that are present in India. Now that we looked at the power stations, let us understand how the nuclear stages work in India. India follows a 3-stage nuclear program where we have stage 1, which works on uranium-235 and uranium-238, right? All of these programs work on nuclear fission. Nuclear fission is nothing but splitting a heavier atom, right? A heavier atom into 2 smaller atoms. Whenever this heavier atom is hit with a neutron, it will become overloaded and it will try to split. Whenever it is split, it releases a lot of energy, and this energy is used to power the station. This is how nuclear fission works. Okay, in stage 1, we use uranium-235. Uranium-235 is very, less abundant in India. That is the reason we are actually using a 3-stage program. uranium-235 is less abundant and is very unstable, whereas uranium-238 is very available and very stable in nature. Meaning whenever you hit a neutron on uranium-238, it does not release or divide into two lighter atoms, it actually absorbs the neutron. So in the stage 1, you use uranium-235 and you hit it with a neutron. When you hit it with a neutron, it explodes and it divides into barium and krypton. Divides into barium and krypton and releases a lot of energy and also certain neutrons. And these neutrons directly hit the uranium-238, which then turns into plutonium-239. Right? After beta decay of uranium-238, it turns into plutonium-239. Then the plutonium-239 is used in stage 2. In stage 2, you will have plutonium-239 and the leftover uranium-238 from stage 1, and also we'll use thorium-232. Okay, now the plutonium-239 is hit with a neutron. Plutonium-239, just like uranium-235, is very unstable in nature. So whenever a neutron is hit to the uranium-239, it is split and it releases energy and also ensures there is more neutrons present. So those neutrons are absorbed by uranium-238 and it will ensure there is more amount of plutonium-239 present. This is what is happening in Kalpakkam, that is in Tamil Nadu, right? We have a fast breeder reactor, meaning it is breeding the fuel. It is increasing the fuel, that is called fast breeder reactor. Okay. Now the extra neutrons that are present that go and hit the thorium-232, which converts thorium-232 into uranium-233. Now uranium-233 is again a very unstable element. Now this uranium-233 is used in stage 3. Right? In stage 3, you will have uranium-233 and thorium-232. Thorium-232. Now this uranium-233 is hit with a neutron, and this converts, this neutron is absorbed by the 232 and it converts again into uranium-233. This is how the 3-stage program works. Firstly, the stage 1 uses uranium-235 and uranium-238, where the neutron is hit to the uranium-235, which splits and ensures that neutrons hit the 238 and transforms into plutonium-239. Now this plutonium-239 is used in the second stage, where plutonium-239, uranium-238 that is leftover or in the stage 1, and thorium-232. When neutron is hit to the plutonium-239, it is split. There is nuclear fission happening. There's a lot of amount of energy released, and the energy is utilized in the power stations. And the neutrons that are released after the fission reaction are absorbed by uranium-238 and thorium-232, which leads to plutonium-239 and uranium-233. Now in the third stage, you'll have uranium-233, which is a unstable element, and also thorium-232. Now the uranium-233 is hit with neutron, which then undergoes fission and ensures there is emission of neutrons, which are then absorbed by the thorium-232 and ensures the formation of uranium-233. This is how the 3-stage program in India's nuclear platform works. This is what I wanted to tell regarding this particular article. Other than that, I don't think there's anything that is much important. So that ends this discussion. Thank you guys for joining. We'll meet you guys tomorrow. Thank you.